Hey guys, it's your boy M.G.T.O.W again with another video. I realised, well, yesterday I decided not to finish this because I decided to move on to something else and then come back to it. But anyway, I didn't finish this part three, the third part of this list that I was talking about my plans for the channel. So I thought I'd come and finish it, but it took me a while to remember I couldn't remember what I entitled it. So when I had to look back through my old videos, and then because it didn't show in my videos which I'd uploaded. So anyway, sorry for that trivial info. But it took me a bit of time to look for it. Anyway, I thought I'd try and finish this list, and hopefully people out there will enjoy it, about some of my plans for the channel. So getting on with the list, number 21, I hope to once again think of things like maybe in the future do a video of like 30 titles I'd like to cover, or 30 topics or subjects or themes that I could have, or potential titles and things like that. And recapping some ideas, what I was saying about how I wanted to talk about stories, like even children's stories, like about Maury the Mouse, my story about Maury the Mouse. I've been trying to think about that, and probably try and have the confidence to talk about that idea. And like sort of narrate it and that kind of thing, and talk about my plans for it. Again, I might start with like a 30-point list, and then from that afterwards do like videos in story form and things like that. So hopefully I'll get around to it, because I did sort of unfinished business. Cause I sort of say I'm going to do stuff, and then I oftentimes don't get around to it because I take on too much. But anyhow, I hope to talk about some of my ideas, and like also make some joke videos, and also talk about some of my controversial ideas, like why I'm not a big fan of weddings or marriage or stuff like that. But again, I often say I don't want to offend anyone, so but I'll try and be as honest as possible. Anyway, moving on, because I don't want the video to be too long, and I always say that. Number 22. I hope to just upload as many videos as possible, and hopefully some people out there, as many people as possible, will enjoy it, hopefully, especially from Asia and Africa. And I'll possibly also talk about some of the reasons why I think people from Africa and Asia and places like that should support the channel, because I would fundraise it, like if I make any money from the channel, it'll go back towards their own communities. So I think that would be, and also people of colour, as well as other minorities and disabled people, even people who want to support homeless people, or who want to make the world a better place. I think my channel, if it gets enough views, will make the world a better place, and will, as I say, I want to donate the profits towards charity and all that, and in many cases as much as possible, including homeless people around the world. Which brings me on to point 23. So I hope to get on with just making videos and hopefully having fun, and maybe do something different and quirky if I can think of anything. But also hope to fundraise and do things for charity, philanthropy, and come up with ideas for NGOs. And as I talked before about wishing to support people from slums, orphanages, people with learning disabilities, people with disabilities generally around the world, some of the poorest communities and people around the world, and look at fundraising ideas, and share some of the links, or ask some talk about some ideas with some other YouTubers, like how to support some ideas I have for like supporting African technology and things like that, and as I say, projects in Asia as well, like mathematicians and people learning English and all sorts of things like science in terms of Asia, like science, engineering, entrepreneurship, learning English so they can trade around the world and improve their skills and have more opportunities, and maths and things like that from poorer people from slums and orphanages, as I say, or people with learning disabilities, and like try to encourage people to mentor for them, and just do loads of charitable work and all that sort of stuff. 24. Again, I mainly these few months I dream to like encourage Pan-Asianism, as I say, from this year, and hopefully 2021, 2022 and beyond and all that. Each April, May and June, and at least part of August, we'll be looking at how to promote Pan-Asianism and things like that, and talk about my goals generally and how they might change over time and things, and have goals that help me to push myself and all that, and hopefully make the most use of each day, and try not to be like bored or unproductive, like trying to always be productive and doing stuff pretty much as much of the day as possible, for as much of the day as possible. And 25, again, hope to fundraise for things like Republics and things like that, do more stories and do so that's different, and fundraise for different groups, and possibly put together some football tournaments, like if I can get YouTube football channels to do stuff for their chosen charity, like whichever team wins, the other teams have to pay their chosen charity or something like that. Or say for each goal they score, they raise a certain amount of money for charity, or just generally like YouTube, putting on YouTube, and then however many people we get watching the video, and then the winning team maybe gets to all the money that's raised gets to be put in their chosen charity from all the views and everything, and also get sponsors and things like that. 26, again, mostly I hope to support anti-imperialism and people of colour working together against white supremacy and things like that. 27, I hope to do some fun videos about football and things like that, and also like things I'm thankful for and people I'm thankful for, and trying to acknowledge all the people who have done things for me. But I mean, obviously on YouTube I can't always mention their names if they don't, unless they give me permission, because if they don't want their full name mentioned. But if anyone wants to give me a shout out or anything like that, and do reactions on their channels as well and things like that, so we can support each other and that kind of thing. 28, again, generally I hope to make the world a better place and just spread joy, peace, love, joy, and all the positive things that I've talked about before. 29, I hope to encourage people of colour and other groups, especially mixed race people, to support things in Asia. And I thought of an idea today, actually. I think it's a new idea, actually, of mine, which is that, like, there's things we've talked about, which was like the Indo project, which are people who are part Indonesian, and also the Hapa project, which I think generally means mixed race, but it's mainly a Korean word, and also the Hafu project from Japan, and maybe an Anglo-Indian project as well, and groups like people who are part Indonesian, part Singaporean, part Korean, or possibly Singaporean as well. The Eurasians from those countries, from those nations, could like fundraise or make maybe we could all make YouTube videos, which again, from the money, and if they do make any money, we could donate the profits towards anti-imperial or anti-prejudice or anti-imperial buildings in those countries, which make up for the fact they were colonized, or things like that. Perhaps not sure if Japan was colonized, but or Hubei, but I think that's more from like a naval base or something like that. So a lot of soldiers have mixed race children there. But in terms of Indonesia, India, and places like that, they were actually colonized. So hope that makes sense. I often say, but yeah. So fundraising to host centres there, which could be anti-imperial centres or buildings that support those countries, as I say, to make up for the fact they were colonized, and hopefully mixed race people would fundraise for them, and also maybe visit their countries to support their tourism and things like that. And number 30, hope to do just as much as I can do, and take any advice on board if I can, and also like cover any videos that you send, any suggestions that you send, as long as they're something I can share on YouTube or whatever, as long as that's too personal information or things like that. I think that covers everything. I'd love to know what you think. Peace and love.